Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's MacklinGaming, and recently I was perusing Steam and I saw how Hades 2 is in early access, and it made me think, I remember when Hades 1 came out in 2020, it was a really big indie game. I never played it, but it got almost unanimously amazing reviews, like 9s and 10s out of 10s for this little indie, hack and slash game. So I was like, all right, Hades 2 is in early access. Why don't I check out Hades 1, the first game? I got a physical copy off eBay for my Nintendo Switch. Runs at 60 frames per second. Started playing last week, or like 2 weeks ago now. And, the combat is so fun. It's so much more than I thought it would be. Because I'm usually not a big roguelike person at all. Like, that genre doesn't do it for me where, when you die, you start all over from the beginning. Like it's an arcade game from the 1980s or something. It's like, I don't feel the progress, and I don't like that feeling of, starting all over and everything that you accomplished is pretty much erased. So I was like, all right, I'll check this out. And, it's about Greek mythology. So that's a cool, lore and setting for this game. You play as the son of Hades. His name is Prince Zagreus. And Hades is your dad, and it's kind of funny. There's good humor and dialogue between the two, and you're Zagreus and you're trying to escape the underworld, right? So Hades is, I believe, Zeus's brother and Poseidon's brother, and then he fell down to hell. So he's the Greek version of the devil. So you're his son and you're trying to escape the underworld, and it's a roguelike to where each room you enter, I think they call them chambers, has a bunch, a wave of enemies or two waves of enemies you have to fight. And then you move on from there and you try to work your way all the way up to the surface. And that's how you get to the end of the game. I won't spoil what happens then, but you get 6 different weapons total. At first you only start out with 1 or 2 weapons, I believe. But you unlock weapons as you go. And, even when you die, you can restart and you still have these weapons to choose from, and you just start one run with one weapon. You can't change weapons mid-run. So you've got a sword, there's a bow and arrow, there ends up being a spear, a shield, some really cool weapons to use, and they all just feel really satisfying. And let me get to the most important part about the game, which are the boons. And boons are what they call your buffs or your perks that you get along the way. And each boon is based off of one of the Greek gods. So you meet all the Greek gods. There's so many in this game. Maybe not all of them, but there's a ton, right? So you meet Poseidon, who gives you he's their god of water, right? So he gives you this, attack that pushes enemies away with a big wave of water. Or you get Ares, and Ares is the god of war, I believe, in Greece, and he gives you doom, which when you use doom on a weapon, it inflicts extra damage, so your enemy's health bar explodes and deletes, and it's a quick way to whittle down their health and kill them fast. So I loved Ares' doom. And what else is there? Athena gives you deflect. So Athena's got this shield, and when you get her boons, you can have deflect on your dash. So what you have is an attack, a special attack, and a dash. And dash is your dodge. That's what they call it. And then you have a cast, which is almost a magic. So with Athena and her deflect boons, you can put it on your dash to where if an enemy's shooting a projectile at you, you just press the dodge button right into the projectile, and it will deflect right back at them for more damage. So I think that is also a amazing boon to have. It's really clutch, and because you can dash multiple times in a row once you get a bunch of perks, and so you can just deal damage with their own projectiles right back at them. So you've also got Aphrodite, right, the goddess of love, and you've got Dionysus, the goddess of wine. He's pretty funny, and he gives you some funny boons as well. But his boons are also really good because they give you hangover, which actually you inflict on an enemy, and when an enemy has hangover, their health starts to just decline. It just starts rapidly evaporating. So you've got all these different status effects that are from each different god or goddess in the game. And as you go along playing each run, you can pick, like one or two of these boons, and you can start building your build that way. You just got to build your build. So that's like the meat and potatoes of the game. That's like the addicting hook. For me, like it's the combat and then the boons. So like every run can be different. You can have a different weapon and start with different gods' boons. Like there's also Zeus, who gives like electricity, lightning damage. So there's like anyone you could think of has their, signature there for you, their signature element or attack. And the way you can like mix and match your boons, like each run, you can do it a little bit during each run. Like you can sell a boon off and then get a new one. But just the fun part of like getting far in a run and, dying to a boss, like you're going to die a lot in this game. That's all I want to say. Like it's not a game where you're going to beat it in the first couple tries. Like you really have to grind. And when you die, you just got to play again. And I just like that roguelike negativity I was talking about earlier kind of hit me a few times where I'm like, why am I doing this if I'm just going to not make it all the way? I'm just dying, but no, I was like, the combat is so fun. I'm going to keep playing just because I enjoy killing the enemies with these different weapons and with the different boons. And as I just kept enjoying the combat, not really caring how far I got, I started to realize I was getting like almost all the way to the end. And eventually I did. I got to the end and beat the final boss, and it took me 44 runs. So there's like a little information stat sheet in the House of Hades, which is like the main room where you depart for each of your escapes, each of your runs. And it's like a little hub room, right? So you get these stats and you can see all your previous runs and how many enemies you killed, and you can even see eventually like what boons you used on each run. So you can see what your build was on previous runs, right? So that's how I knew. It took me 44 tries to get there and beat it. And it was really enjoyable. It has this really enjoyable, like isometric Diablo-like camera angle with like a really nice art style. It's got that cell shaded, colorful, really nice art style to it. So I actually really enjoyed the art style. I really enjoyed the combat, and that caused me to just keep playing even when I was dying and, I was getting stuck, couldn't get any farther until finally got to the end and I saw the light and finally made it there. So it's one of those roguelike games, I think maybe one of the best at, just pushing you to keep going. And if you die, it's fine. You're going to save a lot of your like perks. All your boons get erased and you just have to start fresh in the new run. But there's like other perks you unlock that are like permanent passive stat boosts, and you can keep those as you die and try again. So you're not starting all over. You actually get stronger. You feel Zagreus get a little bit stronger. Like even after you die a bunch of times, you get these, stat boosts. So it's a really cool indie game. One of the best. I had to check it out for myself, and I hear the hype and I've experienced it, and I agree. Hades is the shit. It's an awesome hack and slash game with great combat, and you can pick it up for like probably $20 on Steam or, wherever. The physical copy of Switch is a little bit more expensive than that, but I think it's a really good collector's item. So what do you guys think about Hades? Have you played it? Are you excited for Hades 2? Leave a like. I'd appreciate that. And subscribe. You guys are the best. I'll see you next time. Peace.